What's a food chain? Who remembers? A series of energy transformations. In this case, yesterday, the bear submission was in. All the arrows should be pointing towards the grass. If you pointed the arrow towards the bear, then you were pointing it incorrectly. Because the food gets transferred to the bear, but what's really being transferred is energy. I'm sorry, not to the grass. From the grass to the grasshopper. I said that backwards. So the arrow should be pointing towards the bear, not the bear the other way. It's not the bear feeding on the grass. It's the grass providing energy for the bear. Does that make sense? How many of you got that right? Uh-oh. What's a food web?
A series.
Network of food chains.
Yeah, it's many food chains. So it's many organisms feeding off grass and many organisms feeding off those. Who could tell me what grass is? If I mention the word grass, what are words that are going to pop into your head? Producers. What else? Autotrophs. What do they do? Photosynthesis, which is what?
Creating food.
Creating food. For this chapter, it's creating food. What's the food?
Sugar.
Sugar. And then who eats the grass?
Consumers.
Deer.
Consumers. What do we call a deer consumer? Eating grass. What kind of consumer? Herbivore. Who eats the herbivore?
The carnivore.
Carnivore.
The carnivore. Good. What does an omnivore eat?
Both.
Both. Okay. What does a decomposer do?
It breaks down.
The nutrients.
And
Returns the nutrients.
returns the nutrients back to earth in the cycle. Nutrients being what?
Meat. Seeds. Anything.
This is a good question for you. Nutrients are recycled. What does that mean? This is from your last chapter. Which are? Can be. What's in it that gets recycled?
Carbon.
Phosphorus, sulfur, CHON, PS. That's my nutrients being recycled. It's not the meat. You can't, a decomposer breaks down a piece of steak. Are you going to go eat it? Ew, I can't even believe you answered that question. All right, so a food chain, a series of energy transformations. Now look at this triangle. What is this triangle? When you see this triangle, what do you think of?
Food pyramid.
Illuminati.
Food pyramid.
A food pyramid. But in a food pyramid, what's on each little part of the pyramid?
Food.
Food. So this pyramid is what? You said it, David. You said food chain?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Chain
Oh, it's the
pyramid.
steps of how the food breaks down.
Not food.
Energy.
Energy. It's an energy pyramid. Okay? It shows transformations of energy. So look at the shape. What do you think the shape is describing?
The way energy is moved.
Okay, and what does the movement of energy look like? If it's a triangle, what's happening as you go up?
Gets smaller.
It gets smaller. Okay? So who goes in the bottom of this pyramid?
The biggest
Who has the most energy? Grass.
one.
Producers have the most energy. Next is going to be primary consumers, and from there on and on and on. Okay? As you go up the pyramid, energy is what? You lose. How do you know that?
It gets smaller and smaller.
The shape tells you that. But how do you know that energy gets lost? It's a what? It's a law in science. The law of thermodynamics says energy can't be created or destroyed, only transformed. And when it's transformed, it's going to be lost. What happens when it's transformed? I'm reviewing.
It's gonna be low.
And when energy is lost, what happens? It's lost as what?
A different form.
Which form?
I forget.
Look, do this.
Ooh.
What's that?
Heat.
I went from what? What kind of energy?
Now,
What is this? Kinetic or? No, potential stored. This would be potential. I have the potential to do energy. But once I start this, what kind of energy is this?
kinetic
Kinetic or, what's the word that describes kinetic energy?
Moving energy.
Movement, which is called what kind of energy? Mechanical. 6 forms of energy, that's enough. And when you move your hands together, heat is given off, okay? Alright, so the law of energy, bless you, tells you that every time energy is transformed, energy is lost as heat, okay? Anybody know how much energy actually gets transformed and how much is lost? Look at my numbers. Who could do the math? Percent of energy. You're only gaining 10. In every energy transformation, 10% gets passed on and 90% gets lost as heat. So when I go from here to here, I'm getting 10% and 90 is lost into the atmosphere or to Earth. Sunlight, we're gonna put it over here, okay? Sun is the main source of energy on Earth and it's gonna provide energy to my what? To my producers, okay? So in the bottom of the pyramid, you have to know that, whoops, you have producers. You can see the word autotrophs. Yeah, block it out. You could put the word plants. All that could be in the bottom of the pyramid. What's in the second step? If producers on the bottom, who comes next? What kind?
The one that you work
Primary consumers.
Primary consumers, and what are they called? Crickets is an example. We just said it. Plant eaters, what are they called?
Herbivores.
Herbivores. So herbivores go second. And we started off with 10,000 joules, now we only get 1,000. Who's next?
Secondary.
Secondary consumers. Called what?
Carnivores.
Carnivores. Let me change the color. No. No omnivores, okay? Because if you're an omnivore and you're eating meat, what are you?
Carnivore.
Carnivore. In an energy pyramid, you're showing transformations of energy. So depending on what you're eating is where you belong in the pyramid, okay? So if you want to put right here, omnivores don't go on the pyramid, I'm okay with that. Also be called primary what? Good. Primary consumer. I'm not primary consumer, primary what? What first level are you? We know this is secondary consumer, so you're a primary what? I actually wrote the words together there. Primary carnivore. You're the first level carnivore. So the next level will be tertiary consumer, or what? Secondary what? Secondary what? What? Carnivore. You're a third consumer. So I'm going to draw another pyramid for you. Insert page. Ask you. If herbivores have 440 calories of energy, okay, so I'm going to start with, if herbivores have 444 calories of energy, where am I going to put the 444 on this pyramid? Raise your hand if you can tell me. So 444 calories are for the herbivores, and my herbivores are primary consumers. Consumers can occupy levels 2 and up. Who goes on the bottom? Autotrophs. How many calories does autotrophs have in this pyramid? Carney. What's my second level carnivore gonna get? 4.44. Okay? Do you want to do? Who else can go on the bottom? We said autotrophs go on the bottom, and we know plants are autotrophs. Bacteria, not decomposers. Okay? Decomposers don't belong on the energy pyramid either, unless if they're breaking down waste. So energy is really not even being transferred. Good.